Hello everyone. Back again doing some classic Predator analysis videos. It's been a couple, almost I think months, plural, that I was able to do my first on Jesse Velez, where we kind of looked at a guy who really was at the first step of just a dishonest predator. We didn't really get to see his psyche that much because he was able to um be have the straight face to try and lie. Of course, the lies were completely awful and were be able to be seen through. There was no one I was convinced by that performance, but he kept that wall up the whole time. Now we're gonna start seeing a couple more predators where we can really look into their psyche, how they're really reacting to getting their deviancy exposed. So, hopefully this isn't a hindrance, but I'm gonna open a beer real quick and let's get started. 40-year-old John Dupee showed up at our sting house. Bailey, not the same decoy. We're gonna get introduced to
Hello?
Nervous Nelly, one of the
Hello.
best
Hey,
decoys they've ever
Gunner.
had.
Where are you?
I'm outside. My sister just got back in the car.
Oh, okay. Just go through the back door so nobody sees you.
All right, I'm at the back door.
Just go in.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
So, just for some quick lore, yeah, that was his sister that dropped him off as on the phone call it was said. And unfortunately, if I'm getting this information right, the sister's unfortunately dead, which sucks. And his brother, he has a brother too that actually won the lottery. Not like the most amount, but he won the lottery with a neighbor, split that money, and was able to buy a house. And it sucks because I wonder how good that family felt until both the tragedy of a sister happening, but then the brother really being a creep. So here we go. He's on his phone,
Hey,
as you can see, for the
what'd
minute
you
and a
bring?
half confrontation.
What did you bring?
Not responding at all. Just, I mean, very, pretty much very rude. Like, ignoring that if this was an actual girl, woman, for example, I mean, you'd be fucked. You would, that's the first impression. Like, she would just close those legs and the game's over if you were actually gonna be like that. And when I first saw this, I thought this was like a cockiness thing, but I actually think this is the beta stuff of just not being confident in approaching her, not wanting to make eye contact, and just being really nervous. And that's one thing that I really want to draw attention to. That I'll mention this one more than the rest because I think this is a good example of the almost delusion some of these guys have. Because it's one thing, even taking away pretending she's 13. I don't want to say, I mean, because she's not 13, so I can say she's attractive. But if she was 13, I'd be like, okay, I don't know how you could say that without sounding like a creep. She's a cute girl, right? Even if she was, but taking out that out of the equation, despite the fact that she's 13, you still have to flirt. You still have to, like, present yourself in a way that you can at least even seduce the 13-year-old. And he doesn't have the charisma to even do that. Now, there's something interesting about what John Dupee says throughout the interrogation that I want to draw attention to, and the thread of not being able to be charismatic or good looking enough to probably be able to be successful in seduction is going to be an important part of this analysis.
What do you got? Show me.
Doesn't just hands them to her, not talking, just presence. The chips.
Nice.
So a great example of why she's nervous, Nelly. Just look at her facial expression. So he gets a little close, backs up, just getting ready for Chris Hansen to jump in already. Chips. Her eyes just look at those. Like he legitimately just brings out chips, and she's like, "Oh my god, he's loaded." Doesn't even take them.
What kind is it?
genuinely curious.
Thank you.
Doesn't even take them. She's nervous.
It's so nice to finally see you.
This is about
this
to
is
end
crazy.
already.
Are you nervous?
Yeah, I'm really nervous.
Like, yeah, doesn't even bother to try and at least like counter on counter. Like, she's definitely nervous.
Why?
I don't know, I've never
Why?
done this. Have you?
No.
So what do you want to do?
Oh, this is she. I mean, maybe she knows that's a magic word to provoke the predator to do some weird shit. But like, oh my god, like I don't know if I were, especially if I were an attractive woman and I was doing this job, I would never say that because I know that that's cue for the deviancy to start. Oh, I haven't even taken a sip of my beer. So, watch as what happens next. A
A
hug.
hug?
I don't know.
It's just, I don't, she doesn't even cringe. She's just like, oh, fuck this. And here comes Chris. Hey, boo.
That still out of their front position.
And now he's back on his phone again. Like, this is his little defense mechanism because there's no one he's talking to. I'm not even saying that he doesn't have anyone to socialize with, but there's no one he's talking to that it's more important to address than the fact that he's just about to get exposed. He doesn't even know if this is the dad, law enforcement, so
Oh, right there. Please have a seat.
Chris is just like, shut the
Set the
shit
phone
up.
down, please. What is your plan here tonight?
Just hang out, watch football?
Hang out and watch football with whom?
With her.
Who's her?
With Bailey.
Bailey. And how did you meet Bailey exactly?
Through Whisper.
Whisper.
Hmm?
And do you know how old Bailey is?
She's 14.
14.
Mm-hmm.
She told you she's 13.
Okay, so this is one of the first. This is one of the few predators who actually is able to just straight up just tell the truth, especially because he's at least the only smart thing is that he's putting up the like not even like the whole well I just came here to tell her that this is not a good idea or I came here to tell her not to do this or the big one the most confused I came here to tell her that I'm not coming here. But yeah, we're just casually watching. We're gonna watch the game. I bought some Snapple. Uh, I know Twisted Tea is the tea of the week here. A good way to date my video, but the he's got that defense going on, and at least he's also gonna be honest and saying like, oh, she's 18. No, 17. He's at least willing to admit that she's underage, but
Not that that matters.
Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
30.
30.
you're not 30.
And why would you at 30 think it would be okay to hang out with a 13-year-old girl home alone?
I mean, we just hit it off, friends.
You hit it off with a 13-year-old girl.
We were just talking.
I mean, to end looking at the chat, like the chat is incredibly long, and like he interacts with her a lot, and he professes like love for her. Like, of course, he gets sexual, but like, um, he really. I just noticed Chris Hansen. He's always was a slim guy from what I remember. Okay, um, uh, there's just this weird attachment that he actually had, and that's one thing that I'm going to draw attention to for what I think my main point, main takeaway of this video is. First of all, he actually did have an attempt to establish a connection with the minor. Not that like if you have a connection with the minor justifies it, or even honestly, even if like if you had a friend, if you're especially his age and you just have a 14-year-old friend, 13-year-old friend, even if it never gets sexual, I don't know, I think that's kind of weird. But he has that mentality where he really wants to have that established connection with this child, with this with this the decoy, the 13-year-old, well also some dropping in the sexual talk.
Just talking. Well, now you're
Right,
here.
just
This is more
talking.
than talk.
I know, we
He in his head he okay, let's keep this playing for now.
just came to hang out. You know, I
And
brought
what, get a hug?
and watch football.
Watch football.
Watch football.
Yep.
Who's playing tonight?
And this is the statement that proves that he is not here for sexual intentions. I'm gonna reveal that right now.
Just talking. Well, now you're here. This is more than talk.
Chris Hansen, this was a fucked up case because Chris Hansen had nothing on this guy, and the case went nowhere because
I know, but you just came to hang out. You know, I brought...
What, get a hug?
And watch football.
Watch football?
Yep.
Who's playing tonight?
Steelers and the Ravens.
Steelers and Ravens. Case closed. he knew who's playing tonight. I wonder if anyone who just what the fuck's this gaming noob saying that this case. But yeah, Steelers and Ravens.
I had no intentions with nothing.
No intentions of...
Nope.
Well, John, what do you do for a living?
I was working at UPS.
UPS.
Was.
And did you walk here today, or?
No, my sister dropped me off.
You don't have a driver's license?
Yeah, I do.
No car?
No.
So what do you do at UPS?
I was a package handler.
Package handler. You're not there anymore?
No.
What do you do now?
Nothing.
Besides go online and try to
Taunting
talk to
him
young
now.
girls?
I don't try to talk to... I just try to find a girl to talk to and hang out, whatever.
And how many times have you done this with somebody who's 13, 14 years old?
Never.
Never talked to another girl who said she was 13?
Nope.
Well, who's Brittany?
Who's Brittany?
That was the other girl you were talking to.
There we go. He just like, oh, that was a decoy too. Oh, like even I wonder for all of these predators because there's a lot of predators here. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember the names. Sokol, I believed. The Joshua Cologne and the mouth breeder, the supposed serial killer. Like these guys were talking to different decoys, and I really wonder because if you're at least somewhat intelligent, if you're a predator and you're getting ready to do one of these and you have to expect, okay, there is the chance that there's a sting. What is going to be my bullshit cover up story? I don't think none of these guys ever factor in, especially if they've been talking to multiple minors. It's like, wait, what if this was just one and the same? And he clearly, maybe some have actually factored that in. The serial killer guy who I can't remember his name. His excuse was that okay, well, he didn't even have an excuse, but he was saying, "You told me you've only done this one time. Well, I've only done it one time overall, like overall, including the multiple instances." This guy, so he just
Never.
Never talked to another girl who said she was 13?
Nope.
Well, who's Brittany?
Who's Brittany?
That was the other girl you were talking to.
I think he tried at least for like, who's Brittany? Like, it's like, no, we know that you. And he's just.
When was this?
When was this?
Within the last few weeks.
Surprisingly, Chris actually gives up on that. I don't know why. He kind of looks a little like annoyed. I guess he wanted some comical reaction.
When was this?
Within the last few weeks.
Yeah, home in on that. He's clearly frazzled. You can really get a lot out of the fact that, like, hey, you've been a creep to multiple minors. He gives up though. This is Chris Hansen and YouTube. Like he doesn't have the television backing like he did back then, so he's not gonna. He's tired. He's tired.
So you say to Bailey.
All right, Bailey.
On Whisper. That you're 30. How old are you? She says 13. You say, you're not 13 in that pic. Yes, I'll be 14 next month. That's pretty clear. You remember that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do. And later you tell her, I would love to be the first guy.
Noticeable gulp.
That's pretty clear.
He's just
you remember that, right?
Nervous as all fuck.
You do. And later you tell her, I would love to be the first guy.
It's comical. Like, I really, like, I almost feel like these are always exaggerated instances of emotion, and then you actually see it, and like, I wonder how many times I've ever, like, legitimately just gulped. Like, it's just such a weird thing to actually see.
To make you blank if you wanted me to, and I wanted to.
Then there's the sexual talk.
Feel me inside you, baby. Has that line ever worked for you before?
No.
Then why do you do that now?
There was no, I mean,
Well, what am I to make of this?
there was no intentions made by it.
That shows clear intent.
So there was no intentions made by it. So let's translate a little bit about. Okay, so here's how I always picture, especially this guy specifically. Now, let me put a disclaimer. I am not justifying or defending John Dupee at all, but so there's the narrative of the fact that yes, he's meeting up with a minor and there has been a sexual undertone. Even if there wasn't, I mean, it's not illegal to meet with a person underage online. Uh, I don't think it's really possible to actually do that and just not do it for the reasons of just not being a predator, right? But he has that, right, but in the same time he does have this legitimate connection that he thinks he formed. He this is probably a connection that he has, and again, not justifying it, but I okay, when you're thinking about the sexual messages that he's sending and then he's saying, I didn't mean, no intention of it. To be honest, like I really think, especially on his case, those were the I'm fapping right now messages where, he just really gets horny and he just wants to really let loose and expresses that. But overall, I think he really thinks that this is more of a friendship than it is a sexual thing. Because again, he knows because he came in all fucking nervous on his phone, covering his mouth, talking over with his mouth covered so that Bailey can't see his fucking teeth and shit. Unless of course there's 100% delusion, but yeah, you have to think that he knows that he doesn't have that prowess to be able to pull something off like that, especially with a woman who is well, he thinks a girl, but a girl that's attractive. So we'll keep going on that. I'm just okay. Let's keep going on that. But he says I have no intention of that. Uh, Again, so he was probably just fapping to it, and he probably was like, "Oh fuck, like, I can't believe I said all that shit." But again, since he thinks he has such a connection, he'll keep going. But that's just a theory, a game theory.
Want you to feel me inside you. What did you mean by that exactly? And then you talk about that you and a bunch of people snuck into
Kind of an irrelevant,
a mansion
random thing.
and partied for days. Where was that mansion?
That was a while ago.
How long ago?
Maybe 8, 9 years
Chris
ago.
So it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So random.
This does not look very good for you, John. The chat, the appearance, the Cheetos, the dark chocolate.
Cheetos are fine. Cheetos have nothing to do. Don't go blaming the Cheetos. That was a legitimate finesse act by my boy John Dupee right there. So don't give him there. If it wasn't for Chris, he would have gotten some with the Snapples and the Cheetos.
Did you bring condoms with
No.
you? Not in your pockets.
Nope.
But you see how this looks.
Absolutely. I mean,
You're 30 years old. The girl you were talking to told you very clearly she was 13.
He looks like a deer in the headlights. He's just complete. It really looks like he on 100% did not think this was a sting. Like some of these guys, and that makes sense too because a lot of these predators, like the one we saw with Jesse Velez, where he actually even looked at the camera that was filming him, like like the way his body. I mean, he even had his sister drop him off. He 100% thought this was legit. So he is just completely lost right now. I'm surprised he even had the Steelers and the Ravens in his head then.
You're 30 years old. The girl you were talking to told you very clearly she was 13.
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I had no intentions just besides.
John,
Right.
Why don't you just tell me what you were really up to?
I had no
Just
intentions.
to hang out, get to know her.
My
you know,
intentions were
to
to
know
hang
her.
out, get to know her.
And if you were the parent of a 13-year-old girl, would you be comfortable with that?
I mean, it depends how I mean, if I'm a good person, you know, like.
Yeah, but typically good people don't meet strangers online, talk about sex.
Typically, good people don't meet minors online. Like, come on. I know, maybe I'm just being semantical, but I could picture older Chris just always looking at the internet like I mean, he was brought up with the thinking the internet was a cesspool, so he probably.
And then go over to visit, and within 3 minutes, ask for a hug.
I mean, all they did was just ask for, you know, a hello hug. That was it.
With a 13-year-old.
Oh, you know what? Like, this was really underrated. Like, the hug itself, too. I can't believe I didn't really talk about it.
What do you want to do?
A hug?
I
A
don't know.
hug. And he looked so childish doing it. Like, um, you know, like if you're really like trying to go for a hug, like legit, you know, like you know what I mean, like a hug, you know, basically what Barney from How I Met Your Mother once said, a hug is basically just a dry hump. You know, you put your arm underneath on the waist, you pull her in, you know, like especially because you're taller, you know, you probably get the girl to push up against your chest a little bit. You know what I mean? Use the other arm for like more control kind of stuff, you know. He just goes for, "Mommy, give me a hug." Like, look at that. I mean,
Yeah, I'm really nervous.
Why?
I've never done this. Have you?
No.
So what do you want to do?
that's a
A hug?
okay. So
I don't know.
I just want to pause at every single frame of just. He's smiling too. Look at that. If he doesn't even think that's a. I've never seen anyone actually point this out
I've never done this.
in all the videos
you?
I've seen people talking about this.
So what do you
He's still
want to do?
smiling. Like he doesn't even get that she walked away in
I
disgust.
don't know.
Huh? What's going on?
Hey, Booth. Hey. Just
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. But yeah, like the hug even is I'm not trying to defend this guy or say that he wasn't here for that, but like I in some ways like I really think that there's just a huge part of his psyche that's just childish enough that like like here's my overall thought process behind this too, which we can go further as the video goes along. I honestly think that it was a situation where Dupee was like, I don't think it's gonna happen. Um, but she's my friend now. I love football. The Steelers and Ravens are playing tonight. And yeah, like how about I finally hang out with this girl? We watched a football game, and if it gets right, which is fucking still wrong, but he was also probably like, if it gets right, then like we can do it, and I'll be down and I'll love it. See, I mean, you shouldn't have that thought, especially if you're meeting a minor. But I, like, let's keep going with this then.
it, and within 3 minutes, ask for
Yeah, ask for a hug.
a hug.
I mean, all they did was just ask for, you know, a hello hug. That was it.
With a 13-year-old girl. Walked right in the house.
Right. I mean, that really was a very, very overdramatic hello hug. But yeah.
Well, she told me to come in.
Does that make it right?
He's so nervous. He's sweating all over.
Knowing that she's 13.
Oh, I wouldn't have never just walked in, you know, without talking to her, you know, without getting her okay.
Now, you talked about spending the night. Here, tonight.
Well,
Yes or no?
Oh.
it depended, you know, like, if she had to wake up in the morning, you know, like, if I was going to stay
Did she
here.
have to go to school?
She said she didn't have to go to school today. I mean, tomorrow.
So you could just spend the night and hang out with a 13-year-old girl. That's cool.
Well, I mean, I didn't plan on it.
You talked about it.
I mean, I was going to leave after the football game.
Unless you spent the night.
No, I didn't plan on spending the night.
Well, you talked about having cannolis, a little dinner.
Yeah,
Sounds like you were going to have a special little night with your 13-year-old date.
you know, just come over, have some cannolis, you know, some snacks, watch the football game.
Who's ringing you up?
My cousin.
Your cousin?
Yeah.
What does your cousin want? Does your cousin know that you're coming to visit a 13-year-old girl tonight?
That was a weird cut. I wonder what he responded. Like, I guess he actually like. I guess the story was so boring about what his cousin wanted. They're like, ah, fuck it, cut this out.
Your sister?
No, she knows that I was just coming to hang out with a girl.
So what would your sister think if she knew she was dropping you off at the home where a 13-year-old girl was alone?
Imagine that. Just imagine what that sister thinks, what that sister thought about when she realized, oh my god, like when I dropped him off, he was I dropped him off to meet a minor. That's a crazy thought to have.
Think she'd be cool with that?
And that's the thing. That's the thing where it's very selfish overall to the predator. Not because the predator, his soul is basically forever damaged, right? And whether the predator cares or not is up to them. Predator obviously would ruin the minor's life. Just psychologically and sexually damage them for, like a permanent long-term impacts. Um, ruin the family of the minor and everything. But that's also the thing is, especially when they get caught, there's so many relatives. Almost, these a lot of these guys are cheaters, have children. Like that's just such a weird association to have forever with a member of your family too. That like they don't really care about.
I mean, she probably would say, just don't do it, don't do anything stupid,
Don't do anything stupid.
Right.
It seems like you've already done that.
Yeah, the
The
sister probably would have said, "No, don't do that at all."
just coming here to watch the game.
Look at that! Look at all those beads of sweat. They're going down. Oh, it's crazy.
You tried to solicit a 13-year-old girl online.
Right.
Using graphic sexual language.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think should happen to you?
There we go.
So I'm not like that and a bad guy.
How does this look? How does that look? John, you tell me, how does it look? If you were...
I'm not like this. I'm not a bad guy. He's much more forward than most of these fucking degenerates. And take a drink every time. Take a drink like me every time I say I'm not trying to defend him, but like, what if he's being honest? He really just there's just this lack of really believing he's doing something wrong. Also, because in his head he really was just like, you know what? Like, yeah, I'm just gonna hang out with my new friend Bailey. Yeah, I'm not a bad guy. That's not a thing a lot of these predators say.
Or me, what would you think?
Especially with the arrogance, because it's almost all of the time, if something like that is trying to be communicated, it's also based on arrogance. I've seen that. Michael Woolen, I think that's his name. I forgot what his profession was, but he was super rich, and he was just like going to the detective, going like, "Look, man, I'm just this big, upstanding member of society. I wouldn't do that, you know." Like, I wouldn't do this. I'm not a bad guy.
That I honestly made a mistake.
That you made a mistake. Well, that's true. And how would you define that mistake?
Not to talk to girls like online.
Not to talk to underage girls online.
Or try to come over and have sex with them.
Especially.
I wasn't trying to come over and have sex with her.
John, do you want me to read it again? I would love to be the first guy to make you blank if you wanted me to, and I want you to feel me inside you, baby. What do you mean by that? Sounds like sex to me.
I was just playing with her,
Just playing with her.
not playing with her, but, just seeing like where she was, like.
She
What?
was 13.
Right. Okay, so, I mean, that's definitely, I mean, you can't really admit, oh, I'm just doing that because I was fucking horny right now, but, so that, it goes multiple ways, and something that's not featured, obviously, at all, because it would make for interesting content, but it's not damaging just if you meet, just if you have sex. Even if you even just not sending nudes, but just I understand, like I understand that, like, like teenagers now, they're having sex younger. Like the media that we watch is just so much more loose, sexual. Like those barriers are, like they're not the same as they once were, where um innocence is like prolonged for a little longer. Like, and not saying that like 13, 14-year-old girls now are not innocent. That's not what I'm saying. But like, like I'm sure a good decade ago, like if you were fucking 14, you probably didn't know like what like ejaculation was or something, for example. Whereas now, but like still, like exposing, like you being over 18, you being the person that introduces sexual language to a minor, even if they have even had sex, because you're introducing an element that is much more experienced, while also having that advantage of being older to be able to, and of course, yeah, like obviously groom, but just being able to mold the sexuality. Like it's not gonna, like you're not an 18-year-old talking sex with a 13-year-old, just like be a sex ed teacher or something like that. No, you're talking about sex with a minor so you can groom them to eventually satisfy your sexual needs. So that's never right. And again, I'm not defending John Dupee, but even in the sense of like what I'm trying to come across, it's still fucked up that he even said those things and take admission for that. But let's replay that a little bit,
I was just playing
where
with
he
it.
To,
was
and I
I was
want
just
you
playing
to
with
feel
her,
me
and then he
inside
says, okay,
you, baby.
let's keep it.
What do you mean by that? Sounds like sex to me.
I was just playing with her, seeing,
Just playing with her.
not playing with her, but, just seeing like where she was, like,
Completely, you should. That's not. Don't ever. That's has nothing. None of your concern. None of your concern, my friend.
She was 13.
She was right. Chris is, yeah.
I mean, I'd never had sex with her. I mean, I didn't plan on coming here to have
Well,
sex
not
with her.
tonight because I walked
Right, but
And I didn't plan on
okay.
it.
You didn't plan on it.
Could be a lie,
Come on, you
but like
talked
thinking
about
about his word.
Like, that wasn't my intentions. I talked to her all day today about just coming over, watching the game, and just hanging out.
Right,
Salads.
and that's what I'm saying. All right, guys, take your tequila shot and get ready to take a shot. I'm not defending John Dupee. That's the caption. That's the title. I'm not defending him, but uh, yeah, like he did, and it could have just been. I mean, most 100% too. Because again, like I openly admit that he probably was like, if it happens, it happens. I won't force it. I probably won't even like suggest it, just because he is probably self-aware enough to know that he would not be able to like get Bailey like turned on. He can't even like look at her. So, but yeah, like it really could have just been like, yeah, I'm here to watch the Steelers and the Ravens. Doubling down on that.
About what?
You talk about salads.
About like food and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, while watching the game.
Right.
This is a whole different kind of food here that you're talking about.
He's mistaken. I don't know why.
So what do you think should happen?
But yeah. What do you think should happen to you?
You're in a bit of a fix here.
I'm terribly sorry, sir.
Well, there's something you need to know, and that is I'm Chris Hansen. And this is an investigation called Hansen versus Predator.
Aw.
Sir, if you want to leave, you should go out that door right there.
No.
He keeps going in the wrong. Oh, okay. The camera guy, I love just like how he's just in the background, just. Man, fucking up his shirt, bro.
Yep. These are yours.
Oh, what an ugly shirt. I've given him the benefit of just not insulting his appearance. But what an ugly fucking shirt, Jesus Christ.
So, why do you think you're here?
Because I went to that house
And how did you learn about that house?
by talking to that girl,
Do you remember what the girl's name is?
Bailey.
And how were you talking to Bailey? Were you talking on the phone?
Both.
Like actual voice-to-voice conversations?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi.
Hey, boo.
Hi, baby. What you doing?
What are you doing?
Some things that were in the chat and then him with the baby is it's very clear that there's a lot of mimicry going on, a lot of what he thinks is how you should flirt, how you should talk sexually. You know, like almost like almost like role playing, like it's because again, it's a 13-year-old girl. Like I don't care if you are so wrapped into your belief of justifying a relationship with like a 13-year-old. Even you have to know that there's no way you can ever be. It can never be a normal relationship. And yeah, like he just, hey, babe, it just really sounds awkward. You know, like he just does not have the ability to be able to say that. You know,
Nothing. What are you doing?
what are
I'm
you
just waiting
doing?
for you.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, are you?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I said, oh, see what I mean? Like, uh, that hurt. But this sounds like another Oblivion conversation. This is the second time in a video I can say that.
Hi, baby. What you doing?
Let me see if I can do something real quick. I'm sorry, especially for people who don't know what the reference is for that. Let's see. Sorry about that. Blah 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 blah. All right, let's see. Which one is it? Da-na-na-na-na. Okay. I won't take too long. Okay, this is the last one. This isn't the right one, but
What are you doing?
Nothing. What are you doing?
I'm just waiting for you.
that happens in Oblivion too, where it'll just just say the emote, just laughter.
Oh, are you?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I love you.
That bit really didn't work. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that, but that just really amused me.
How did you first meet her?
On the internet.
What part of the internet? An application?
I'm immature.
What was
I'm
the
going
outcome?
taking a fucking Predator video and just playing Oblivion music over it.
About you wanting to feel, you want her to feel you inside her. I mean, I know what that means to me.
I know. I should never said no stupid shit like that.
And you're talking about
He's
wanting to make her
ashamed.
calm.
I know. That was just all.
What did you think that, like, what is she supposed to read from that? Like,
Well, honestly, when I was talking to her, I was hoping that there was a chance that, it was just, I don't even know why I said that to her.
Right. I legit. I'm sorry but I legitimately just believe that from him. And And like I said, I honestly, the way I think it works, the way I've seen it from people like Predator Poachers Toronto, regular Predator Poachers, Catcher's Lines, Anxiety War. A lot of these times I can see the connection of the fact that these guys sometimes are just fapping. They're really just fapping. And this is kind of like the Joe Rogan thing of the post ejaculation. Can we play that? Like, I'm just, okay, Joe Rogan post ejaculation. Post nut syndrome. Right.
Having an erection and getting excited is like sitting in the back seat of a really. Having an erection and getting excited is like sitting in the back seat of a really long bus.
Okay.
And there's some other guy up there driving the bus. Most of the time, you're driving the bus, not when your dick is hard. When your dick is hard, there's some other guy driving the bus. And all the windows are rolled down. There's papers flying around. The horns honking. Dun, dun, and you're looking at life taking place through a dirty windshield 100 feet away from you. And you're like, do you even know where the fuck you're going?
We passed the stop.
And your dick's like, just shut the fuck up and calm down. I got this. And then when you come, all of a sudden, the fog parts, and you're at the front of the bus holding the wheel.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? What am I doing here?
Yeah.
How'd I get here? Ah! And you look down at your dick. You motherfucker.
It's good. That's what I think. And let's just replay that one last time.
You know, it was just,
I don't know why I said that.
I don't even know why I said that to her.
Yeah.
But he's paying the price for it, as he should. As he should. I'm like, that's why I always say, and I was always being legit. I'm not defending him. He deserved what he got. But I legitimately think that, especially out of the hundreds of predators I've seen, like, this is the maybe one out of the. There's probably like two more who were genuine and at least being like, in this instance, I really just wanted a friend. But
Let's
yeah.
stand up and turn around.
And yeah, John Dupee, like most of these predators, though, got a really light sentence. Dupee was released from prison last summer after serving 3 years. Yeah. Alright, guys, well, that was my perspective on the John Dupee. I'm sure a little bit more, let's say, almost not controversial, but a little bit more differing than most. But that's just how I've always seen this. And I think we got another good perspective into predators now. We're going to keep going and we're going to see a lot of different kinds of predators in this series. So thank you guys very much. I hope you guys had a as best of a 2020 as possible. Hopefully I'll be seeing you guys more in 2021. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.